INSiiGHTS now has its own Roku channel. INSiiGHTS itself is a dream maker, providing a platform for content creators. Go with INSiiGHTS Roku channel into 91 million homes. We are strengthening our programs and will continue to educate, entertain, and enlighten our viewers. We will still feature youth sports, Mick and Rick, INSiiGHTS Magazine, Remember the Legends, and much more. Stay tuned for our creative content. We will continue to appreciate your support. Welcome to the Claflin Athletics Show. This is your host, Mickey Clayton, the coach. INSiiGHTS presents this wonderful program about Claflin athletics that is sponsored by Tony T. Chrysler Dodge Ram of Orangeburg, South Carolina. Special guest with us today is Coach Scott Nestor, a rookie coaching at Claflin. First year in the saddle, and he's looking to be able to lead his charges through the CIAA and onward. Coach Nestor, welcome to the Claflin Athletics Show.
Thanks, Mickey. Appreciate you having me on. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, Coach, we're really excited. We see you with the baseball backdrop. We see that. I thought for a minute you were sitting in the baseball field.
No, actually in my comfy office in my chair. But I use this backdrop a lot with recruits on virtual calls and whatnot, just to kind of show them the field and give them a sense of what what our facilities are like. Some quick imagery. I think kind of maybe they can picture themselves playing at shortstop there, or parents can kind of imagine what it would be like to sit in the stands watching their son play.
Okay. I understand the psychology behind that. Coach, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us what has helped prepare you for this shining moment.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. A great, place to kind of kick off. But, I grew up around sports and in athletics, very athletic family. My dad coached me in pretty much everything growing up. He was a college football player at Central Michigan University, where I attended school. And, one of my probably actually my biggest role model growing up was my grandfather, my mother's father, who was a New York Yankee. And I think I went to my first New York Yankee game when I was like 3 months old. So kind of born into pinstripes and at a baseball field. But he coached baseball when I was growing up at Central Michigan University, and kind of growing up around the game and around him and seeing his interaction with players and then, his interactions with me as I was kind of coming up through the game as a player, and just his advice and just the overall impact he had on me was phenomenal. And when I was in college, I was a junior, he passed away, and at his funeral, tons of former players had come back and, spoke about the impact that he had on their lives and, how important he was and the perspective that, he imparted on them. And it just made me reflect as a young man of, all the coaches that had a big impact on me in my life. And right then and there, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And that was to be a coach, to hopefully make an impact and, help raise young men and better husbands, better fathers, better sons, and and be one myself for sure. But that was sort of what propelled me into coaching, and that was a really impactful moment in my life. And I think right then and there, I actually reached out to my old high school coach, who I still have a great relationship with, and he was coaching a summer program at the time, and I was like, hey, coach, I want to get into coaching. Is there any way I can help you this summer? And I jumped right on board with him, and kind of the rest is history. That's where I kind of got my start, was coaching high school summer ball and working at a training facility. And, just opportunities would present themselves. I then moved on to being a high school coach at Birmingham Seaholm High School in Birmingham, Michigan. And then I had a buddy get a head coaching job at one of the local colleges, Rochester College. And we were having a conversation. I asked him, hey, you need assistance? And that kind of got me back into the college game as a coach. And, I've slowly started to kind of build from there. I spent some time as the recruiting coordinator at Savannah State University under Carlton Hardy, who has done a phenomenal job there. Actually just won a regular season SIAC championship last year. And he's been an unbelievable mentor for me. And then, got some time to go, be a Division I head coach, or not head coach, but assistant coach at Villanova University. And, all my experiences through the years have really helped me kind of shape how I would build a program one day. And I think that, I'm in a position now where I get to really kind of put my theories or my ideas to the test and see if they can really work. But I feel like I've had experiences at every level, be it high school or college and small college and, Division I. And you see all the different ways that you can be creative and innovative and, different ways to make an impact, like I said at the very beginning. And, that's really the number one goal is to make an impact here and, build something special.
Coach, there's so many layers to your opening statement. And the thing I guess that I'm hanging my hat on that really hit me was the influence of your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess as a father with 3 daughters, I now have 3 grandsons, and just them and hearing them with Papa and being up under me to play and start playing different sports. And you look up and they even mimic the way you might eat popcorn. They follow you to a T, and that's what kind of hit me a little bit. Yeah. So you're a former, what is that? Chippewa is what y'all were?
Chippewa, fire up. Yeah. So attended Central Michigan University. That's just kind of the tradition or heritage of my family, right? My dad was a strong safety. They called it a monster back then on the football team at Central Michigan. And my granddad played baseball and coached baseball at Central Michigan. I had a great uncle who played football there. And we grew up going to Central Michigan football games and baseball games. I think I was the bat boy back in 1998 for the Chippewa baseball team. And that I don't think there was really much of a decision when it came to applications. I think I only did 2 applications. When I got into Central, and that was where I wanted to be and where I wanted to go to school. So that was important to me to kind of follow in my family's footsteps and my grandfather's footsteps. And so.
Nothing wrong with being a legacy, and that Savannah State baseball program is no average program. That's an excellent baseball program over there, Coach. What did you pick up from the time you were there that is going to help you, or you're planning to lean on and hang your spikes on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like I said, Hardy was an unbelievable mentor to me. And I think the one thing I really took away from that program was you have to be very clear and concise with your words and your philosophies and your vision and how you message that to the team. We would have many times in the office, we'd be sitting there and, he would ask me, hey, Coach, what's your hitting philosophy? And, we'd go over it and I'd kind of say, he goes, well, do the players know that? And I would say, yeah, I think they've got a pretty good handle on it. And he would call, Champ Robbins into the office and say, Champ, what's our hitting philosophy here? And I remember kind of the first time he did it to me, I was nervous, but it was really important. It was a really important lesson where, it doesn't matter really what it's what you can sort of, pass along to the players and what they can absorb and know. And so that's really the sign of, is your message being, clearly given, is if the players can repeat it and believe in it. And so that was sort of, the biggest piece I really took away was being detail oriented, having a simple message and making sure that your players understand it. That was, the biggest takeaway from my time at Savannah State. And really that's been huge, in taking over a program and, you have all these ideas and everything, but being able to really kind of put it down on paper, share that with the guys, and make sure that they understand, our program goals, our program philosophy, our pillars, and that you give that message on a consistent basis, almost, lack of a better term, almost like brainwashing, right? Where, they know what it is because they've heard it so many times.
Well, tell me a
It's
little bit, Coach. Let's talk about your players now.
Mhm.
Um, Let me ask you: do you foresee your team being built more on defense, on pitching, power, contact hitters? Um, what do you see the strength of your team going into the season?
Yeah, so I think, looking at what we're going to have and what we're going to put on the field here in 2023, I think our biggest strength is going to be our offense. Last year, in the Peach Belt Conference, we hit like 278, which is pretty good offensively in that league. Um, and I think we can continue to improve on that. And I think part of that is just the way we've been training. Um, and then I think defensively, we're going to be able to pick the ball up, on defense. I really do trust the guys that we're going to put out there. I think, the one thing that we've really been trying to train is communication, on defense, and, and when the ball's in play and it's chaotic, making sure that we have thought ahead of time where we're going to go with the ball, where our outs are, and what we're going to do and who's going to be directing traffic. And I think that gives us, a pretty good plan. And so I would say I'm pretty confident in our ability to play defense this year. Our offense is going to go. We've got some guys that can hit, and it's kind of a mix. I think that a good offense is a versatile offense. It's not just all power. It's not just all small ball. I think we're going to be able to do a lot of different things. With bunting, with stealing bases, with driving balls in the gaps, and I think one thing that may take our offense to that next level is, the fact that we've really tracked execution and harped on that. And, I think that's going to be a strength of ours is being able to, when there's a run around third and less than 2 outs, we're going to score them every time, and I think that's something that is important to myself, but important to our team. And I think that's going to kind of help us go.
Well, Coach, tell me this: who would be the people whose glove you're going to need to get you through? Tell us a little bit about your individual players, especially from the defensive standpoint right now.
Yeah, so we've got a third baseman, Juwan Curry, who has made some absolutely spectacular plays at third base back in from the fall and into this spring preseason, and I think he's going to be really an impact player for us defensively. And we've got some young guys up the middle that are coming up, Jaden Lattimore and Jalen Brown, that hopefully, can get their feet wet and, grow and develop a little bit. But we also have some veterans up the middle as well, with Davion Sumter and Joshua Cooper, who were able to kind of get it done and start up the middle last year. We've got some great leadership behind the plate with DeShante Caraway. He's got one of the better arms probably in our conference from behind the plate, and he definitely has some great leadership skills, which as a former catcher, that's something that's really important to me. And then we brought in a graduate transfer from Columbia International, Michael Deuce Bailey, who will be able to provide some defensive specialty as well. And then, we're really going to be able to go hawk it down in the outfield with Kobe Miller in the outfield. He was a second team all conference player last year. Certainly can do that again and be even higher caliber player. And then, we have a JUCO transfer from Henry Ford College in Detroit. Dwayne Henderson Jr., two-way guy. He'll help us both on the mound and in the outfield. But I can go all the way around our infield and outfield and defensively, and talk about every single one of our players having an impact this year defensively. And so I think we've got a really special group, and we can do some really cool things, from a run prevention standpoint.
Well, Coach, tell me again about the third baseman you have. What's his name that you said has made some spectacular plays?
Juwan Curry. He's levitated a couple times over there at third, and made some awesome backhand diving plays to stop some doubles, maybe would-be triples. We were actually we had our maroon and orange World Series game last November, and he made this play where he might have been 6 feet off the ground, completely parallel with the playing field, and just backhanded this ball. And it had everyone standing up. It was awesome to see. And he did something just the other day during batting practice, very similar. And he's a guy who works, unbelievably hard, and is not afraid of anything. And he definitely sacrifices his body to make plays, and it's awesome to watch him.
That's good, Coach. He's a young man that people want to come and see then, I'm sure. Well, tell me about the guys you have that's going to create some disturbances to the opposing pitchers. That's going to have them concerned about hitting the ball.
Yeah, so I guess going back to Kobe Miller, he hit 370 something last year with 18 stolen bags. So he's not only just a tough out at the plate, he has some threat on the bases as well. And we have a lot of guys that can be burners for us, and not just be able to steal bases, but go first to third, score from second on a base hit, score from first on doubles, and be smart heads up base runners. I think that can, and aggressive base runners that can kind of wreak havoc on a defense, and put some pressure on them. And I think Kobe kind of is the leader of the pack in that. And he's kind of, as he goes, we go offensively. But we definitely have some guys that are going to contribute. And, I think Eric Sledge is another upperclassman outfielder who can do some special things on the bases and defensively. And we have a walk-on, actually, Dwight Priest, who has elite speed. And every time he's gotten on base, be it this fall or this preseason, he turns a walk into a triple pretty quick. And I think just him being on base, doesn't even have to, he just can stand there and puts, it's in the pitcher's head of, is this guy going to go? When's he going to go? It just makes pitchers uncomfortable. And so I think he can certainly, be an asset for us as well.
Well, Coach, I started playing baseball way before I started playing basketball. And I was good with the fastball, but when they learned how to throw a curve, that's when I bailed. I was done. Coach, what is your pitching like?
So we've made some huge strides. Last year, the pitching staff was one of the things that kind of held the team back from, a lot of success. But we've added a lot of structure to the training with their bullpens, with their workouts. I think even just like we talked about earlier, measuring their bullpens, tracking how many strikes they're throwing, how many fastballs they're throwing for strikes, how many off-speed pitches they're throwing for strikes. And what we found was, a lot of guys throw their off-speed for a lot more strikes than maybe their fastball. And so when they're in the game and all they're doing is just throwing a fastball, well, that's not their best pitch maybe. So being able to kind of create a plan for each of the pitchers to where they can be more successful throwing what is a quality pitch for them, pitching to their strengths. I think guys have really bought into that, and then having a throwing plan and having a recovery plan and getting guys in the weight room. We have some pitchers that have really bought into what we're doing for them and what we're kind of the environment we're trying to facilitate. And we saw some huge strides this fall with guys throwing more strikes, getting more hitters out, and then that building confidence to really go after and attack hitters. So, really our pitching philosophy is very simple. Attack, repeat, respond, or attack, compete, respond. We don't want to nibble or be afraid to give up that bomb or double in the gap. We want to make sure that we attack hitters and we're going after them, and they're going to get their hits, and that's okay. But it's going to be a lot easier to wiggle out of damage and big innings if we put the pressure on them and we don't walk hitters and we don't give them free bases. If we can control the run game and throw strikes, I think we're going to be really successful on the mound. And the thing that's been really nice to see is how we have progressed from those first couple of weeks in the fall and those first few bullpens, where you're scratching your head and you're like, wow, man, we're going to be in trouble, to where, hey, we have a game plan here that we can be really successful with. And it's been really fun to see the pitchers, build confidence and in themselves and in their ability and kind of sticking to our plan, which was, like I said, attack, compete, and respond to adversity. So.
Well, Coach, who do you have on that mound that you look forward to seeing go up there that can stop a streak if you're losing, or be that guy that goes up there that the team gets behind? Do you have a couple of those, or at least one that who you can lean on?
Yeah, so we're going to really lean on Kyle Hawkins, who's an upperclassman, right-handed pitcher, throws a bunch of strikes, has a 3-pitch mix, and he really embodies what we talk about. And he's not afraid to go up there and compete and attack hitters. And then we've got some guys, out of the bullpen that I think are going to have a lot of success for us and play some really big roles, like Elliot Figueroa, who's an upper 80s, touch 90s arm with a really good changeup and a developing slider. And Charles Jackson is another hard throwing right-hander who has been, developing his off speed. And Javante Green is probably going to, pitch both out of the bullpen and get some starting opportunities this year. But he has a really good slider. Again, he's comfortable throwing that in any count, for a strike, and also it being a put away pitch for him. And so those are the guys that, kind of off the top of my head, really are going to have a big impact. But, everyone's going to have an impact this year. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun to see and see how it develops throughout the season, and who steps up into what roles. Because I think the one thing going into this year is, there's not defined roles. We're still building those things, and they'll develop and change and grow throughout the year. And so I'm really excited to see how the pitching staff does develop throughout the year and who steps up into what roles. And, but outside of those guys that I named, I mean, everyone's going to have an impact. There's one other guy, actually, I'd be remiss to fail to mention, which is Chris Holly Jr. This kid is, 5'9", 155 pounds, and, features a mid 70s fastball, but throws, has the mentality and throws it like he throws 100. And he's had an unbelievable fall and a good preseason so far. And he's going to play a big role out of the bullpen, and not just because, he throws a bunch of strikes, but his mentality and his attitude is unmatched on the pitching staff. And he's one of the bright highlights of our pitching staff, even though maybe his stuff, wouldn't say, hey, this is going to be, the key piece to your pitching staff, but it's all about attitude, and it's all about your mentality. And he definitely has it, man. He's got another gear, and it's a lot of fun to watch him pitch.
Coach, I have to say, you seem very optimistic about what you have coming up, and that you could turn this around rather quickly. And I think most of our viewers want to see them play. You've gotten them excited, Coach.
Well, yeah, hopefully, that we can get, people excited. I know that's one of the awesome things about the athletic program here, but especially the baseball program is the support from, not even just administration, but the Claflin community and the Orangeburg community is how behind the baseball program they really are. I mean, we had our orange and maroon, game, like I said, back in November, and we didn't even really promote it that much or talk about it that much. And we had, 75 to 100 people out there and at 40-degree weather and a November evening watching our guys just get after it. And that's awesome. And I think that was one of the big selling points for this job was, I kind of knew as a assistant coach, what I would have to, have as a head coach in order to take over a program and be successful. And number one was support from the community and some support from the administration. And that's something we definitely have here. And that makes my job a lot easier and a lot more fun for sure. But no, I'm definitely excited and geared up to go on February 7th. And, I think the big thing for us this year is, making sure we're putting a good product on the field and we're competitive and we're working towards, building an elite program and building something that everyone can be proud of. And I kind of tell the guys all the time, it's going to be really cool when we build this thing and you're a part of it. And when you are talking to people and you say, hey, I played college baseball, and they say, where you play at? You say, I played at Claflin. And they're like, wow, man, you played at Claflin? Like, that's a really good program. And I think that's something we're trying to, get these guys excited about and buy into is like, hey, we can do something really special here and build a really elite program to where it's not just, an elite HBCU program or an elite program in South Carolina or D2. It's a program that is considered elite nationally. It's considered, an overall awesome experience for, a student athlete. It's not just, hey, this is what your D2 baseball experience is like versus your D1 or D3, or this is what an HBCU baseball experience is like versus a non-HBCU baseball experience. This is an elite baseball program. This is an elite athletic program, and you want to be a part of it.
Well, great answer. And Coach, in closing, what I'd like for you to do is tell any potential recruits, high school coaches, JUCO coaches, parents, how they could reach out to you so that you will know about the talent of their son and try to seek their talents to go to Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Absolutely. So really the best way to get in touch with me is via email. My email is on the website, but it's snestor, Nestor, @claflin.edu. I'm also very active on Twitter, and my handle is snestor24. People can find me on there and reach out. I'm, Coach Dobbs, which is my assistant coach, myself and our pitching coach, Xavier Johnson, are very active on Twitter and utilize that as a platform for recruiting. So players can definitely find us, parents can definitely find us on there and reach out, share video, and get back with us there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got it from the leader of the bullpen, the starting pitcher, the leadoff hitter, and the power hitter, all in one, Coach Scott Nestor, giving you the story about Claflin baseball. Sounds as if it's a program that's up and coming quickly, in a hurry. You got to watch out for those Panthers. They travel in a pack. They don't come as one. We want you to reach out to Coach. We will do future stories on the progress of the team, get a chance to talk to some of the student athletes that represent Claflin University. And you were able to see that here as INSiiGHTS presents the Claflin Athletic Show, sponsored by Tony T. Chrysler Dodge Ram of Orangeburg, South Carolina. In closing, Coach, anything you'd like to say?
Well, Mick, I really appreciate you having me on and giving us an opportunity to talk about our program. We're really excited about what we can accomplish this year, but what we're building for the future here. And we've put a lot of work into it, and not just the coaching staff and administration, but these players and these guys that are bought into what we're doing and come out and support us. And hopefully, we'll put a good product on the field for you.
I'm pretty certain that you will. Coach Nestor, we appreciate you taking the time. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it straight from Coach Nestor. It's the Claflin Athletics Show. Next week's show, we're going to bring you some information hot from Orangeburg, South Carolina, Claflin University, Pause Tournament. We'll get a chance to meet and talk to the coaches. Thank you. Continue support Claflin Athletics.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent the independent thoughts and representation.